We are back. This is the Hour of Power radio show. Our email address is hourofpowershow@gmail.com. Send us an email. Let us know that you're watching. Let us know what you're thinking. And ask us any questions. We'll be sure to answer them. We got a question just now, and we will answer that as we go through and talk about our next thing. It happens to be what we're talking about.
That's true. We're going to go on to the NFL draft.
We are. We're both big NFL fans. We're both really big into it. We do a lot of quote-unquote studying into it. So we're going to try to talk about that a lot. And it should be good. So we're going to go through do you want to go through all the picks? Or?
Well, let's talk about well, we don't even have to really go through the first 5 picks because both Todd McShay and NFL scouts he knows, they got together and they said they basically made their own mock draft. And then Don Banks of SI, who may or may not have a subscription to this, came out with his own mock draft. And this is what the first 5 say for both of them. They've got Cam Newton going #1 to Carolina. You and I both don't agree with that pick.
I don't agree. I think that they have too many things that are a problem in Carolina that they don't need to go after a big-name quarterback with the first pick overall.
Right. Jimmy Clausen can be a good quarterback if he has a good supporting cast. There's no supporting cast in Carolina right now.
Exactly. If you have no supporting cast, then Cam Newton's going to be just as bad as Jimmy Clausen.
That's
so
right.
Go for the Lions. That's what I always say, and I'm not a scout. I am not anyone that studies this a lot, but even I know. Go after the Lions and build from there. That's where you make your money at.
Especially since he can't start from day one. I mean, Peyton Manning, you know, he can start from day one. A guy like Matt Ryan, yes, he can start from day one. You know, but Cam Newton cannot. Build a core of a team before you go after a quarterback. I know it's a quarterback's league, but they're still 2-3 years away from winning.
It's kind of like when you're working out. You know, you always want to build your core up because that helps build all the other muscles. It's the same thing with a football team. You want to build the core up.
That's right. All right, next pick for the Broncos is Marcel Darius. I like this pick. This is a good pick. They're going back to the 4-3. Marcel Darius is going to be a hell of a 4-3 lineman for the Broncos. They've got Elvis Dumervil already there. This one I like. He's got good size, good strength, good speed. What do you think?
I agree completely. Kansas City's offense is starting to do a lot better. Oakland's offense, and they struggle, but they can put up points when they really want to. And San Diego, of course, has got Phillip Rivers, so I think that they're a team that needs to go after defense.
Right. All right. Next up, Blaine Gabbert going to Buffalo. How do you feel about this one?
Once again, this is another one where I think maybe they should go after a lineman because but at the same point, they have so many needs. Which line are they going to go after first? You know, maybe this isn't a terrible pick for them. Go after a quarterback and, kind of build it maybe like Detroit did or the Rams are doing right now. It's like you get the quarterback, build around it as best as you can, and know that you're going to lose for the first couple of seasons. But it's just Buffalo has so many needs. I mean, I don't know if I can come up with a position that they don't have a need at.
Right.
And so it's like you might as well go with the quarterback and try to start getting him in the system and seeing if maybe he could help win you a game or two so that you're not in the top 5 picks again.
See, my only problem with that is that I think Ryan Fitzpatrick can put points on the board. He was starting to really come together with the Buffalo offense at the end of the year. I think they should pick Von Miller with this pick just to produce a good pass rush because their defense wasn't great last year.
Yeah.
They need to do that. Obviously, stretching for an offensive lineman at this point is not a good idea. I think, and AJ Green's not going to do a whole lot for him. They've got Stevie Johnson. They've got, who else do they have? Lee Evans still? Yeah, they still have Lee Evans. So AJ Green's not a good pick. I think Von Miller would be a great pick here, but I can understand building around Blaine Gabbert.
Lee Evans is quiet, and he's always good. But honestly, you've converted me. I mean, I think that, a good defensive lineman that can rush the quarterback, that can give him a little bit. I mean, I believe in Ryan Fitzpatrick as well. I never thought he did a bad job.
Especially, my biggest thing is that this quarterback class isn't an automatic home run.
Yeah, this isn't an Eli Manning, Ben Roethlisberger,
Phillip Rivers
quarterback. No. I mean, no, this is not it at all.
Yeah, so that's my biggest problem is wait next year. Next year, crumbles under Fitzpatrick. you got Andrew Luck falling into your palm.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's not a bad idea. You have one more season of losing. Honestly, Christy, Buffalo fans know how that goes, right?
I know. Is Christy watching?
I don't think so.
Probably not. Oh,
all right,
Christy.
So next up.
Next up, we have the Cincinnati Bengals, and they're taking A.J. Green, the wide receiver from Georgia. I think this is a good pick because the Cincinnati Bengals 2 years ago had a very good defense. Last year was an off year, but, they might be able to get back the magic. Cedric Benson is a good runner. They got a pretty good offensive line. We don't know about Carson Palmer, but their wide receiver has been lacking. I mean, Chad Ochocinco and or Chad Johnson, whichever one those are, they have not really been doing that well. But that's all right. I mean, they can bring in this new guy, and he can help out, and they should be just fine.
All right, we got a question. What's a trade down? Trade down means you have, say the Bills, they don't like their spot third in the draft. They trade down. They set a trade with, say, San Francisco wants to get the number 3 pick. They take over San Francisco's 7th pick, assumably, and they also get either a player or another draft pick or some more draft picks. That's what trade down means, is just trading positions to enhance your value.
Yeah, because maybe the guy who they want will be available later. They think a guy's really good that no one else really has a need for, no one else really wants. So they don't mind trading back, and they're going to know one of the guys that they're going to want is probably there. Right.
So, like right now, the top offensive lineman's ranked around the 9th, 10th prospect. So if you're holding a 5 seed and your top need is an offensive lineman, trade down, get an extra pick in the 2nd or 3rd round, and pick your guy then.
The other question is, what are we going to do if there's no more football? Number one, well, I guess it's a 2-part question. And what are we going to do in our personal lives? What are we going to do on the show?
Right.
On the show, there'll probably be much more nonsense and probably more, rubbing of each other's nipples.
We'll have to become college football experts.
And that's what we'll do in real life, is we'll have to become college football experts.
So, but yeah, that's basically it. We'll have to start drinking on Saturdays instead of Sundays.
Which could be a good thing. I've always thought that would be a lot more fun, because then you have a day to recover.
That's true.
Because, going into work hungover on Monday, yeah, it's nice, but you do that for 20 weeks a year. It kind of gets old after a while.
It does. All right, moving on. We've got the guy who I think should be going 3rd, Von Miller, going to the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals love this pick. I think there's no way they don't do this if he's available.
Yeah, they're really happy that he's going to be dropping down this far, which is good.
Yeah, great feel for them. Number 6, we got Robert Quinn, the first defensive end taken in this draft, going from North Carolina and going to the Browns. The Browns do need a defensive lineman. They also need playmakers. So stretching for Julio Jones at this point would probably be, it wouldn't be a good value pick. So I think Robert Quinn's not a bad pick. What do you think?
I don't think it's a bad pick at all. I think the Cleveland is a team that they did a pretty good job with what they had. I know it was kind of rough. They didn't win that many games, but they were in a lot of games. So if they could just stop people from scoring as much, they might be able to do good.
All right, let's go. We've covered a lot of this so far. We're kind of running low on time. So let's go through some big ones. We'll talk about what these guys pick, what we think of the picks. Obviously, we'll start with our teams. Number 7, we got the Niners. Patrick Peterson for 1, and Prince Amukamara for the other. That's because Patrick Peterson goes 6 to the Browns in McShay's draft.
So both people are thinking that the Niners are going to take whatever the best available cornerback is. I think that's a great decision for the 49ers. They're a team that's building right now on defense. I like that. When the new coach comes in, I'm afraid that he's going to start moving it more towards offense, but they're doing a good job right now building on defense. Most of the games that they were in were close games. They only were blown out a couple of times. And, yeah, they were blown out a couple of times, but that's fine. But the games that they were in, and they were close. So if they can get some good defense, they should be able to be pretty good this next year.
All right.
Next, we have the Dallas Cowboys up at 9. We have Todd McShay and the scouts thinking that Daquan Bowers, the defensive end, is going to get it. And you're over there thinking that they're going to go to the complete opposite direction, take Tyron Smith, the offensive tackle.
If they take Daquan Bowers, I'm going to shit my pants. I'm going to be so pissed off.
Well, which one is it going to be, shitting or pissing?
Both. Pissing. It's going to be awful. That is the worst pick that you could do. You know how many busts they've had at defensive end that in the last 10 years? I mean, it's awful. They can't pick a defensive end to save their life. They've already got DeMarcus Ware. He provides 20 sacks a year. What? You don't need that much more of a pass rush. You don't need Daquan Bowers. You need an offensive lineman or a cornerback. So if Tyrone Smith is available, take him. Or if Prince Amukamara is available, take him. That's all that you do. You've got 2 people there. Only one of them is going to be gone at the most. Take them. Sorry, I'm going to get really pissed about that.
That is all right. You don't need to bother looking for the Raiders because they traded away their first-round pick because they got Richard Seymour.
That's right.
Which they re-signed him. Yeah, he had a good year. I'm not too upset about it.
He's liking it in Raider Nation.
He's apparently liking it. And what's nice is that the Raiders have a pretty young defense, and so they need a veteran presence to kind of help them out. All right, we got 2. Let's go with who are the Rams going to go with?
All right, the Rams. Well, I guess it. Wow.
Oh, damn it.
Yes. All right. The Rams. That's an interesting question. I think if the Rams get the chance to choose Julio Jones, he's off the board within a minute. I mean, there's no way that they pass up Julio Jones, especially for a young quarterback to bond with a young receiver. Ask the Cowboys how that worked. Pretty well.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, okay, good. All right, but if he's not available, look for him to look towards the defensive line. I know they've made a lot of picks there lately. Todd McShay and the Scouts have Kyle Randolph, who is
a tight end.
Or Rudolph, excuse me, a tight end out of Notre Dame. Good tight end, but I don't know if he's worth 14th pick. You're getting low value out of that one.
That is true, but the Rams have been struggling a lot with wide receiver with pass catching.
Right.
So, I mean, it might be an all right pick. The next question we have is about the Packers, and we're going to try to get this in really quick before we have to take another break. We got the Todd McShay and the Scouts are saying it's going to be Danny Watkins. He's the offensive guard from Baylor. The Packers basically they won the championship, of course, which was great. I love Aaron Rodgers. He was from Cal Berkeley. I love him. I love seeing them win. They didn't have many places that were lacking on their team. I mean, that's why they win. I would have preferred to see them go for some defense. I think that they let too many people score that game, but I'm definitely okay with this pick because I think, if I remember correctly, their offensive line is getting a little old. So
it is.
I'm okay with that one as well, but as I would go with your Sports Illustrated guy who was saying to take Cameron Howard from Ohio State.
Cameron Hayward. Yeah, Cameron Hayward, the son of Craig Ironhead Hayward. I don't know if you remember him from his Atlanta Falcons days, but he could fill in for the free agent to be Colin Jenkins. The only problem I have with this pick is that Ohio State picks tend to be busts in the draft.
Yes.
Especially defensive ones. I think it's because they play against a slow conference in the Big Ten. That's just my own hypothesis here. But either way, they have him picking Cameron Hayward out of Ohio State, which is a good pick for defense. If he fits, obviously, that's a big if. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and after that, we're going to go into our nonsense.
Nonsense!
Nonsense!